What's up, everybody? We've got a few things to discuss. Tua Tagovailoa has a fifth-year option given to the man. His fifth-year option picked up, and this is very questionable to me. I really do hope he ends up staying healthy and on the field and upright. But Miami Mike's got a chance to win a Super Bowl with this squad, and to not have a quarterback that's guaranteed to be on the field all year is concerning to me. Brock Purdy, on the topic of quarterbacks, had successful surgery. We'll be talking about that. We've got to talk about Slay, Thielen. It's all coming up right now. A little quick episode, a little breaking news show here at the Fantasy Football Show. It begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is up, everyone? My name is Smitty. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show, and we're going to break down just a few little pieces of news that are getting kicked around right now. And we'll be back for the 7 p.m. show. We'll be back for any other breaking news. Don't worry, because that's how we roll. I just want to update you guys on a couple, I don't want to say small things, but these aren't as big as the Rodgers, the Lamar, any of the other topics. This is more of a catch you up on all the other stuff that is not clouding up your time and clogging up your time like Lamar and Aaron Rodgers will continue to. Tua Tagovailoa, his fifth-year option was picked up by the Miami Dolphins, guaranteeing him $23.2 million for the 2024 season. This is something you do when you, in a year in advance, want to make sure you don't lose a player, right? So Tua's fifth-year option can be picked up if you're drafted in a certain value range. You have a fifth-year option. If you're a second, third rounder, you don't. And so Tua, you have this fifth-year option. You can pick him up the year prior. Like, you can't wait until the season's over and then pick up your fifth year. So like, for this situation for Tua, this guarantees that he's getting $23 million in 2024. 2020, that's not a huge number comparatively to other quarterbacks, obviously. So $23 million if he's starting is an actual good number. But this is alarming to me. And we talked about this all offseason long, that if Miami Mike has the best landing spot out of all the potential landing spots for all quarterback situations, and he has no interest in bringing in another big-name gunslinger. Could have went after Carr, could have potentially tried for Aaron Rodgers. He can't go after Lamar right now, but maybe he could have, maybe he could still trade for him. Maybe the NFL draft passes, and the Miami Dolphins, the reason they can't go after Tua is because they don't have a first rounder in 2023. Maybe if the NFL draft passes, and then you look at it from the perspective of, okay, what teams have immediate first rounders in the next two drafts? Well, the Niners, who are out right now, they can't negotiate with Lamar. They can't even talk to him. Same thing with Miami. Those two teams become in play to do so if, let's say, Lamar is still lingering out there looking at offer sheets and he's not happy. So it's just crazy to me that the Miami Dolphins are going to attempt to roll into yet another season expecting Tua Tagovailoa to stay upright and not suffer another concussion. I just don't understand it. Miami Mike just went through this last offseason, and he's such a smart guy, and his offense is so amazing. I just don't know what he's thinking. If anybody feels this guy's not going to continue to suffer concussions, I got a bridge to sell you. I got a bridge. Speaking of bridges, this guy Brock Purdy had a bridge surgery performed successfly today. The doctors went in. And wanted to take a look at what they were dealing with. They might have had to gone to Tommy John surgery, which honestly is the better long-term surgery. I don't necessarily agree that they should have just went with what was quickest. I mean, maybe it does end up being just as successful, but for me, it comes down to if this Tommy John surgery could essentially make his elbow stronger, at the end of the day, and he could have a better, longer career, that would be what I would go for. There's no evidence to say that the bridge won't allow him to play the same amount of time, but at least we know with the Tommy John surgery that he probably would have been better long-term. It just would have been a very bad short-term situation because he would have been out the entire 2023 NFL season. The bridge, it likely puts him, on track to be throwing in 3 to 4 months, and some still believe he could maybe be ready for week 1. I don't think so. I think it would be rushing him to the point where you just get him hurt again. But we'll have to see how this, does long-term for him. They went in there. It was a good enough situation to do the bridge technique instead of trying to do a full Tommy John surgery repair. So we'll find out, but I know Niner fans are excited today because he's definitely in the mix for playing earlier on in the season versus later. But how early, we don't know. It depends how he feels. He's got to go out there and throw. There's a possibility he's in the lineup by week 4 or 5, which I don't like that there's that option because now Trey Lance is looking over his shoulder, and per usual, Shanahan's setting Trey Lance up, I believe. Not that Trey Lance has total control of what's going on with the surgery, but I just feel like that Shanahan has total control over the surgery. He doesn't, but I just feel like this is setting up Trey Lance for failure. This is going to set Trey Lance up for failure. I hope to God it doesn't. I hope Trey Lance goes out there and balls out. I hope Trey Lance is playing so good they can't put Brock Purdy in. I hope Trey Lance looks every bit as good as Brock Purdy and has a different dynamic to his game that makes it impossible to take him off the field. His mobility. I just feel like Shanahan is going to run this guy. He said it before. He is a dual threat quarterback. He didn't say that about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's a pocket passer to Kyle Shanahan. So they're just gonna run. They're gonna run him. They're gonna run him into the ground. They're gonna run Trey Lance. They're not gonna open up the offense the same way they would have with Brock Purdy. It's frustrating to me. I am very glad Brock Purdy, his surgery went well, and this is good news for anybody that was waiting on that. Darius Slay, we've got this information here. ESPN Diana Rossini reports the Eagles have granted Darius Slay permission to seek a trade. I mean, no one likes to see this Eagle defense break up at all. I'm not sure what his situation is and why he's so unhappy with a Super Bowl contending team. Apparently he wants more cash. I don't know. Tua, a time bomb, says lawn guy. He is, unfortunately. Adam Thielen was released. That's another piece of news. And then James Robinson, the Jets did not tender restricted free agent James Robinson, making him a free agent. So free agent, Thielen free agent. And now we have all of the most recent kind of smaller news out there for you, and the phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. Dial into the show. Your boy Smitty will answer your call, and we can discuss whatever you want on the topics at hand, or if you have some other question you would love to get my thinking on. But we'll have more to come. This is just a very, very brief, short live stream. I'm not going to be on much longer. 50 of you in here, punch that thumb up button. Tua Tagovailoa, his fifth-year option picked up, meaning he's guaranteed a 2024, $23+ million deal, which is just, I mean, that's not the end of the world. Like, if let's say he gets injured and he does stay on the roster and he tries to come back next year or something like that. Let's say worst case scenario, something happens to Tua. I'm rooting for him. I hope he doesn't have another concussion, but it feels inevitable. And if you have him on the books for $23 million, I mean, it's a big number for a backup quarterback. But if 2024 looks different than 2023 and you bring in a quarterback, I don't know. I mean, it's not the end of the world to have on the hook for $23 million, but it's head scratching. It's head scratching why Miami Mike would go down the same road. Like he was in the Super Bowl hunt. You know, he was on a Super Bowl hunt, a mission to prove everybody wrong. And you taking my call, bro? Oh, hold on, bro. Dial in again. Sorry about that. It's crazy. It's crazy. He was on a Super Bowl hunt. Dial in, Jonathan. The phone line's there. Slay wants a new deal for more money. I know. He's 32 and the Eagles don't like doing big contracts with players after 30. Well, no one does, though. But Slay's good. He wants to get paid one more time. I get it, but sometimes it's disappointing when the boys don't want to stay together. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to? Who is this?
What's up, Smitty?
What's up? Who's this?
This is Jonathan Cortez.
Jonathan, what's up, guy?
What's up, my man? Man, I've been trying to call your show for the longest, and I always get that crazy voicemail, so I'm really glad I finally got a hold of you.
Jonathan,
appreciate the show, man.
Yeah, Jonathan,
you're a ball.
When you want to get to when you want to go to a real nice restaurant, one of the nicest, sometimes there's a long wait, pal. But once you get here, it's worth every single minute. What can I do for you?
Definitely, man. I respect the hustle, man. I respect all the content that you're always blasting. I follow a lot of fantasy football analysts, but you're by far one of the best, man. And
Thank you.
Just want to say that, I really do appreciate all the work that you put in, and I know a lot of us really appreciate you, especially in the off season, because not everybody plays Dynasty. I'm in a few Dynasty leagues myself, but I really do appreciate that you're always throwing content out there for everybody to be able to be on top of things.
Thank you. Yeah, when I started in the business over 20 years ago, I was sitting there, in my early 20s, and I'm sitting there going, or late 20s. I was sitting there going, there's nobody that's doing year-round content. There's nobody that's doing year-round content. Like I was sitting there, there's nobody that had an instant-based trade calculator. No one had a draft simulator. And I'm just sitting there, just like you guys, looking for content. And it's like the Super Bowl would happen, and then I'd talk with my buddies. Hey, do you guys want to do our redraft? We didn't do Dynasty back then either. We knew about it. Dynasty was very small. I started to get into it right away. But I remember talking to my buddies in my redraft league. I'm like, let's draft early. Let's draft in March. I just couldn't get enough of it. And I loved the concept of drafting before you knew what was going on. And all 11 of my buddies, probably 10-man league back then, so 9 of them, all 9 of them were like, bro, you don't even know what's going to happen in free agency. You don't even know what if someone gets hurt? And I'm looking at them going, are you scared? Are you scared? What if someone gets hurt? So what? What if somebody gets traded? Be predictive. Why are you scared? And I literally, this ADD kid that just couldn't get enough information. This is what drove me to do what I do. And it's like, I March, April, May, June, July. And when people say Dynasty redraft, some content creators go into Dynasty mode right now only. Why? Why not talk redraft and Dynasty year round? So that's what's so funny when people are like, Smitty, you going to take a break? Smitty, you should take a break. I don't want to take a break. This is 365 for me. This is the most fun part of the year. Even from a redraft perspective, this is the most fun I have the entire season is during February through August. The entire time for redraft, let alone Dynasty. So what else can I help you with, my guy? I appreciate you.
So, no problem, man. So, honestly, this was my first year really doing Dynasty. I've always played fantasy. I've played fantasy for quite some time. But this year, or last year, I should say, I started a Dynasty league with, a good group of guys, and everybody's pretty consistent. And whenever the season was going on, I was pretty stacked. I had Williams. I had a pretty loaded team. I just can't think of it as of right now because I traded everybody away because everybody ended up dying on me. But short story, I ended up trading my first round pick for this year for Godwin and something else. But at the beginning of the season, I wasn't doing so bad. So I was like, this is probably going to be a late round pick or something. I could care less about that pick. Well, came to find out, bro, which I'm still to this day shooting myself in the foot, I ended up finishing last. So that first round pick is B. John Robinson, and I don't even have it anymore. And I literally paid garbage for what I received in return, which was Godwin and some other side piece, which I can't even think about it anymore. But anyways, beyond the point, we're gonna still try to win this. So I went all in for this year because I've never finished last in my life. But I literally had the most injuries that you can possibly think of. Everybody that tore their ACL, I had them on my roster. everybody that got hurt or unperformed was my team. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to go over my team with you, and you kind of tell me what you think about this Dynasty team, and if you think I should do any type of changes.
Yeah,
or if you think
shoot it real quick. I'm not going to be here that long because I gotta run. So shoot me your team real quick, and then I'll tell you what I think. But I'm sorry to hear about that. I commend your honesty to talk to all these people and say, hey, I traded away garbage, and the Bijan pick was that. But we've all done it, bro. We've all traded, like, especially in a Dynasty startup, we've traded our future first rounder for somebody like Hollywood Brown or something during the middle of a draft. And you're like, I want this guy. This guy's going to be great. And then you end up, like, the next year because of injuries, bomb. And then all of a sudden your pick's the number one pick. And you're like, I should have just kept it. But you didn't know. All right, hit me with your team real quick. Idea, I got to jump. So hit me with your team real quick.
All right, bro. So starting lineup, so it's a 12-man PPR, one quarterback league. So the quarterback is Justin Fields. My running backs, or my starting two running backs, are Breece Hall and Travis Etienne, which I just traded for those guys. So those are new guys on my team because I know you're so highly on those guys. So I went all in with those.
Nice.
Wide receivers are Tyreek Hill. I have DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Mike Williams, and my tight end is Mark Andrews. Now, on the bench, I'm pretty loaded. I think I am. Running back-wise, I have Javonte Williams, I have Damian Pierce, and two other receivers that are, worth a damn are Deontay Johnson and Darryl Mooney.
Okay, so my initial diagnosis: you get rid of Andrews, you try to get Kyle Pitts. I don't know what it's going to cost. I don't think anyone would do it straight up, but you never know because of the disappointment and letdown of no quarterback like Lamar heading over to Atlanta, which still could happen. So you never know. But I would do.
This is a funny story, bro.
Well, the
fact that you just said Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I actually had Kyle Pitts. I drafted him in my Dynasty League.
Okay.
And he was shit in the bed, and then he got hurt. And then I traded Pitts away and got DJ Moore and it was like a package. It was like DJ Moore, a couple picks, and something else.
We'll go after Kyle Pitts
again.
Try and trade Andrews for him. That would be my first objective. My second objective would be to get rid of Tyreek Hill, try and get into Olave, try and get into Garrett Wilson, obviously, but you're probably not going to. You could probably get into an Olave a little bit easier. I don't even know if you could do that straight up. Some people might. It just depends on how they value guys like Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't give them away for nothing. I wouldn't get rid of Tyreek Hill because I'm saying to. I'd say, give me a potential top 5 wide receiver. Go get Christian Watson plus something for Tyreek Hill, or go get Olave straight up, or give up something like second rounders in addition to Tyreek Hill to get Olave. That would be my objective number 2. Past that, I like your team. I don't touch the running backs. I don't think you can get enough for him anyway. Fields, I don't think you're going to be able to upgrade him without giving up a boatload. So I like him. He's top 5. But past that, I wouldn't make a trade just to make a trade because you can still win this year with that team. I think you have a potential to do it. McLaurin, I don't think you'll get enough in a trade. Deontay, I'd get rid of. I'd throw Deontay into any one of those deals to upgrade Pitts to upgrade into Pitts. I'd give Deontay for free. To give Andrews and Deontay. To upgrade Fields into Burrow or something, obviously I'd give a Deontay and I'd potentially give a future first rounder to upgrade into like a slightly better quarterback. But he's number 5, so don't go really there unless you need to.
Would you trade Deontay Johnson? I also have Gainwell.
Yeah.
Would you trade Deontay Johnson and Gainwell and a pick for Devontae Smith?
Of course. It depends on where the pick is. First rounder, tough. It depends where the pick's going to be.
It'll be like a 2024 second rounder.
Yeah, I'll do that in a heartbeat. Go get Devontae Smith. Hey, I got to let you run, pal. Call back at 7 p.m. We'll break this down more. I'll be around. Call back at 7 p.m. I got your phone number in here. I'll see you calling, so I got your phone number in here. All right, later, pal. Kilpatrick, you have 20 seconds, pal. I'm so sorry to give you very little time, but I got to run.
Yo, what's going on, Smitty? Really quick for my Dynasty startup, I was offered the 206 for my 3rd and 4th round pick. What would be a later round draft pick to throw into there to make it fair for my side. What do you think?
The 206 and a startup for what? Third and
The
fourth?
310 and 403.
I don't know if I'd have to see the players at those spots. I mean, like,
Okay.
so you're trading a third and a fourth for a second, and I just don't know. If you're not getting like a fifth or a sixth or a seventh rounder back or something like that, then it makes it tough because the third and fourth rounder are still very good. But I do like the second, but the second depends on the player. Like, if we're talking like an Olave versus, like Christian Watson, then it's not really worth the extra fourth rounder. I love Olave. Do not get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, when you're building a team, I'd almost rather trade my first rounder down for a second and a third, and try and do that same thing and try and give that person the very least you could give back on that second pick. That's more what I would rather do, to be honest.
Okay. And I took your advice yesterday. I ended up trading my fifth round. I acquired a fifth rounder for my 10th round and future first.
Okay, nice. Hey, call back at 7 p.m. We'll do more of this. All right. I'll look for your call.
Catch you later.
All right, later, pal. All right, guys. I'll be back. I might be back beforehand. I just got to run real quick. So if breaking news happens, I'll be back. But I'll see you at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, guys. Hit that thumb up button on your way out the door. Appreciate you.